How to analyze a case study? Before discussing that, let's firstly discuss what's the case study all about. Case study is a major tool in the field of management studies. A successful leader is a skilled problem solver. You can become a skilled problem solver by mastering the art and science of developing and cracking the case studies. The case presents facts about a group or an organization. Students are asked to analyze the case by focusing on the most important facts and using this information to determine the opportunities and problems facing that organization. Students are then asked to identify alternative courses of action or the solution model. A case study research paper usually examines a single subject of analysis, but case study papers can also be designed as a comparative investigation that shows relationships between two or more subjects. The methods or the tools used to study a case can rest within a quantitative, a qualitative, or a mixture of both paradigms. Now we will be discussing how to analyze the case. The case study analysis can be broken down into the following steps. Step 1. Identifying the most important facts surrounding the case. Step 2. Identifying the key issue or the issues. Step 3. Specifying alternative courses of action. Step 4. Evaluating each course of action. Step 5. That is the final step. Recommending the best course of action. Let's look at what each step involves. Step 1. Identifying the most important facts surrounding the case. What you have to do in the very beginning is you have to read out the entire case. Read the content several times to become familiar with the information it contains. Pay attention to the information in any accompanying exhibits, tables, or figures. Many case scenarios, as in real life, presents a great deal of detailed information. Some of these facts are more relevant than others for problem identification. One can assume the facts and figures in the case are true, but statements, judgments, or decisions made by individuals should be cautioned. Underline and then list the most important facts and figures that would help you define the central problem or the central issue. If key facts and numbers are not available, you can make assumptions, but these assumptions should be reasonable enough. The correctness of your conclusions may depend on the assumptions you make. Step 2. Identifying the key issue or the key issues. Use the facts provided by the case to identify the key issue or issues facing the company you are studying. Many cases present multiple issues or problems. Identify the most important and separate them from more trivial issues. State the major problem or challenging problems. You should be able to describe the problem or challenge in 1 or 2 sentences. You should be able to explain how this problem affects the strategy or performance of the organization. You'll need to explain why the problem occurred. Does the problem or challenge facing the company come from a changing environment, new opportunities, a declining market share, or inefficient internal or external business processes? In this case of information system related problems, you need to pay special attention to the role of technology as well as the behavior of the organization and its management. Problems in the business world typically present a combination of management, technology, and organizational issues. When identifying the key issue or a problem, ask what kind of problem it is. Is it a management problem, a technology problem, an organizational problem, or a combination of all of these? what management, organizational, and technology factors contributed to the problem. You'll have to decide which of these factors or a combination of factors is most important in explaining why the problem occurred. Now we come to specifying alternative courses of action step. In this step, list out the courses of action the company can take to solve its problem or meet the challenge it faces. For information system related problems, do these alternatives require a new information system or the modification of an existing system? Are new technologies, business processes, organizational structures, or management behavior required? What changes to organizational processes would be required by each alternative? What management policy would be required to implement each alternative? Remember, there is a difference between what an organization should do and what that organization actually can do. Some solutions are too expensive or operationally difficult to implement, and you should avoid solutions that are beyond the organization's resources. Identify now the constraints that will limit the solutions available. Is each alternative executable given these constraints? Ask this question to yourself. Now we reach to the next step, that is evaluating each course of action. Evaluate each alternative using the facts and issues you identified earlier. Given the conditions and information available, identify the costs and benefits of each alternative. Ask yourself, what would be the likely outcome of this course of action? State the risks as well as the rewards associated with each course of action. Is your recommendation feasible from a technical, operational, and financial standpoint? Be sure to state any assumptions on which you have based your decision. After completion of this step, we will move on to next step. That is the final step. Recommending the best course of action or the best solution model. State your choice for the best course of action and provide a detailed explanation of why you made this selection. You may also want to provide an explanation of why other alternatives were not selected. Your final recommendation should flow logically from the rest of your case analysis and should clearly specify what assumptions were used to shape your conclusion. There is often no single right answer, and each option is likely to have risks as well as rewards. Now I will move on to a case as an example for you. The case is taken from a merger between HP, an IT company, and Compaq. In fiscal 2001, HP was the second largest computer company behind IBM, with pre-merger revenue of $45 billion, 19th on the Fortune 500, with over 88,000 employees in more than 120 countries. However, HP was struggling with difficult economic conditions and the technology industry slump. At the time, Compaq was the third largest computer company behind IBM and HP, with a revenue of $42 billion in fiscal 2001. The company had 66,000 employees in over 200 countries and was ranked 27th in the Fortune 500. Compaq integration of Tandem and Digital in 1997 and 1998 respectively proved difficult. Further pressured by the computer industry's intense competition, Compaq's stock took a beating. When Fiorina approached Capellas about a licensing deal, he suggested a broader relationship between HP and Compaq. Capellas felt that there was too much capacity in the industry and that it made sense to consolidate during an economic downturn. The idea of a merger excited Fiorina, who saw it as an opportunity to create a highly competitive technology giant that was well positioned in virtually all of its markets. Historically, mergers within the technology industry had proven difficult, and both HP and Compaq had less than perfect track records with their prior acquisitions. Fiorina, recognizing the multiple obstacles to the merger's success, had created a dedicated integration team immediately after the merger was announced. The clean room, as the integration office came to be known, consisted of pairs of pre-merger HP and pre-merger Compaq employees who were responsible for planning the details of the execution of the merger upon its close. It is interesting to note that in a pre-merger scenario, Compaq employees were perceived to be shooting from the hip cowboys, whereas the HP staff was known as bureaucrats. Fiorina's first challenge was to create an integrated team from both HP and Compaq, which eventually will make success of the clean room strategy. When the merger between HP and Compaq was first announced in early September of 2001, Fiorina and Capellas tapped Webb McKinney of HP and Jeff Clark of Compaq to run the merger integration team. Members of Clean Room used an adopt and go strategy to manage their decision-making process. Category by category, the team reviewed elements of the approaches used by each pre-merger company, and then rather than using a hybrid or redesigning its system, selected the best method to use going forward. Once the merger closed, the clean room could not allow people to think that they could change everything that had been done for the last 8 or 9 months. It would just slow things down too much. Instead, as the teams form and you get together, your job is to understand and implement the decisions that have been made, because speed is the number one thing. HP's cultural integration team rolled out Fast Start, a program designed to ease the transition, explain the new business model, and help define the culture of the newly combined companies. The Fast Start workshops were conducted in groups led by team managers and a facilitator, and were designed to be highly interactive. All 155,000 people in the organization were required to complete the program. This is the entire case study story of HP Compaq merger in 2001. Now the questions that are given are: number 1, what were the major challenges faced during the merger of HP and Compaq? Number 2, what were the key elements which acted as catalysts to change? Number 3, the transition program adopted by HP for cultural integration post-merger was a unique effort towards amalgamation of business objectives and cultural unification between HP and Compaq. Comment on this statement. This case we have taken as a model. Now, I'd like to give you one model of case analysis. Now, let's see which are the organizations in case. Let's list them out. We got 2 companies. One is HP, another is Compaq. We can enumerate right now from the text given itself HP and Compaq profiles. HP is the second largest computer company behind IBM. Pre-merger revenue is $45 billion. Fortune 500 rank 19th. Employees over 88,000. Countries of operation 120. What about Compaq? Compaq is the third largest computer company behind IBM and HP. Revenue $42 billion. Fortune 500 rank 27th. HP's rank is 19th. Employees over 66,000. Just 20,000 less than HP. Countries of operation 200, whereas HP operates in 120 countries. So, right now we come to facts and figures. While analyzing this case, we started up with the profiling of the companies. Now we come to facts and figures. Subject matter of case is HP Compaq merger. Nature of case is problem oriented. nature of problem is challenges of merger. And right now, as my earlier discussion, we'll be trying to come up with key issues of this case. What are the key issues in this case? The very first key issue is economic downturn. Next to it is intense competition in the computer industry, that is IT industry. Next key issue that we can take out from this case story is both HP and Compaq feel the heat of turbulent market dynamics. Next key issue that we can take out is mergers within the technology industry had proven difficult. Next key issue that we can take out is both HP and Compaq had imperfect track records. Next to it, apprehension of multiple obstacles to the merger's success. Next to it, compulsion to be merged due to economic temper. And next key issue that we can take out is creation of an integrated team from both HP and Compaq to make merger a success. Then as per my discussion again, we can try to find out what are the alternative courses of action. One of the alternative courses of action is clean room strategy for developing a roadmap or master plan to be implemented upon the merger's closure. Next is adopt and go strategy to manage decision making process. Next alternative course of action is fast start program designed to ease the transition. And next course of action is fast start workshops conducted in groups. And these are all taken from the case, as you can see. Now we go to the important facts taken out from the case story itself. The first fact that we get is HP Compaq merger announced in early September of 2001. Next fact we got is clean room strategy involved 2,500 people by the time of the merger's close. Next fact that we got is Webb McKinney of HP and Jeff Clark of Compaq lead a transformation process. Next fact that we got is all 1,55,000 people in the organization were required to complete the Fast Start program. Now we'll be taking a SWOT framework. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threats framework of HP and Compaq. Strengths, largest IT firms. Weaknesses, too many players. Opportunities, potential market if the merger is successful enough. And threats, continuous changes and economic thrust. Now after analyzing in this particular manner, we can answer to the questions. And I hope that you have understood the case story. After this discussion, I expect that you can write the answers yourself. I'd like to repeat the questions to this case story. There are 3 questions. So what were the major challenges faced during the merger of HP and Compaq? What were the key elements which acted as a catalyst to change? And the transition program adopted by HP for cultural integration post-merger was a unique effort towards amalgamation of business objectives and cultural unification between HP and Compaq. Comment on this statement. So start cracking the case and try to crack more cases. All the best.